pure domination from Furia as they took that first map on DE Nuke. Now we move over to Train, where INTZ hopefully can bring more to the table as we get ready for this second map of the Brazilian Brawl. My name is Risk, alongside me is Tom Biz, and we're ready here in Rio for some more Counter-Strike.
Yeah, those highlights are a lot shorter than I was going to be, but I suppose it would literally just be a Furia fan montage if you showed too many of the highlights.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, this is where I expect to see a lot more from INTZ. I think Nuke was a map they were never going to win. I think they would have had to pull out a ridiculous performance for them to actually win that map. It's a map that Furia now are 9-0 on in the last 3 months. It's going to be one of their strongest picks. Obviously not going it for anything like Mirage, because obviously INTZ played very well on it yesterday. But this map gives a little bit more wiggle room, and I think that especially for a double ult setup like theirs, it can work wonderfully over on that CT side. Like KNG, you expect him to hit pretty much every shot, but Yell is also a fantastic secondary AWPer, and he's been in multiple different teams. He's a very good AWPer. He just got someone who's always that bit better on his team at every single given time. So yeah, I think that could be pretty deadly going into this map. The problem I'm having is I feel like they're a team that, like, a lot of this comes down to the sort of playing with heart, the passion that they have for the game, really riling themselves up. It's going to be difficult after a game like that, no matter who you are, to basically go, it's fine, now we'll just play Train. Like, you almost need that sort of like mind wipe to come in for you to be able to just go, yeah, okay, we can just carry on.
You need the knife to start CT, and then you need the pistol round. Then you can kind of start building a momentum again. But if they lose the knife and start T, and then they lose the pistol round as well, we might see a quick game here, which is not really what I want, but that might be the reality.
Yeah, I was just running away. Yeah, it's looking like Furia are probably going to take this knife round, so...
Interesting choice.
I imagine... The thing is, though, like, for Furia, the way that we saw them play Nuke, it might not even be that bad for them to start over on the T side, because that's the other thing. Like, they seem like a strong T-sided team. Obviously, they're not going to do it, just for the logical reason.
They have a 43.8% win rate on that T side, which is really high for Train, so they're not bad on it. So it's actually, it's interesting that they are that good on CT-sided maps. Their T side's actually really strong.
The thing is, though, like, we sort of mentioned it when it came to Nuke, it's not like their CT sides are weak at all.
No.
It's just they pretty much win so many T sides that by that point they don't have enough time to actually win CT rounds anymore. Because obviously, if you don't win the knife round, your opponent's always going to pick to be on that CT side.
Black Book of Strats is coming out from the Furia coach, Query. And they're getting ready to go in to the pistol. Very important round to start off with in Train. If Furia can get that great start, they can get the knife, they can get the pistol, they can get the first buy round, they can start building that momentum. I think it's going to be very tough for INTZ to get back into the game, because we talked about it time and time again. They are a momentum-based squad. And here we go. Kit and Smoke on Able J. Smoke flash on Yell, and Destiny's already out towards Olaf.
Yeah, they're looking to try and burst right into this one. It's more of a bit of a bait as 3 players now go pushing in. The bomb's actually still waiting back. That's quite interesting, setting up a little bit of utility. I wonder if they're going to try and double back in towards the A side, because the bomb is very, very far behind. In fact, they've just decided to take control, but look at Yuri. He's in the back lines. Vinny's now pushed in as well, and Cello kind of surrounded here. How to get that second kill? Almost manages a third. Thankfully, Art will be there to put him down. Yell instead now has the decision, obviously. Go back to A. Make yourself that push on towards the side. Try and get the bomb plant. Obviously, Yuri is very low as well, so he does actually have a chance here.
Where's he going to go for the plant? It's going to be the left side of the train. That means he can hide between the train wagons, play towards that hell position. He also has one flashbang. It's actually going all the way down towards Ivy in the backline. Will the position be just in time? It will. They're not going to see him. And he has a great chance of winning this one, because there's no kid on the CT side.
Yeah, that's the big problem. They don't have time to play with. They have to kill him off quickly, and he's actually going to finish off one more instead, but actually peeks out. And I don't really know why.
Yeah, he was afraid of maybe one of them had a kid and he was sitting on the bomb straight up, so he felt like he had to go take the duel. The guy towards hell was the bait, but that wasn't the case, and it's very easy for us to see with X-Ray and everything. Yeah. But in that situation, that's a snap-second decision. He chose the wrong one there, but I don't really blame him. That's a hard one.
Unfortunately, that does mean that it is going to be once again Furia getting themselves off to that strong start. But by the looks of it, INTZ are not going to be waiting around for them to build up any cash. This is straight back in with the buy. They're going to be juggling the weapons around KNG and Yell. Actually, they've managed to get 4 rifles out of this.
Yep.
One of them is on Zand, who doesn't have any armor, which is a bit of an interesting choice. Personally, I'd rather see maybe a Deagle or something with some Kevlar and some nades, because that's where they're really suffering at the moment. They don't have anything really in terms of utility.
Look at this map controller. Already now pushed the T's back from Ivy. That means they can focus on all these other places. They can go forward. Quesarado always already towards Olaf. Vinny is all the way out towards E-Box. This is a great setup, but Stan has found a hole, but I don't think he's going to be able to utilize it.
Yeah, the problem is as well, he's up against SMGs and he doesn't have any armor, so this is a tough position, and they could just be about to hand over a load of rifles to their opponent. Thankfully, they've done a bit of damage, but KNG's left on just 3 HP. They're going to go for the knife. They've run past each other. Yuri will be there to try and put him down. The BM started to come in from Furia a bit. But the fact is, even without that knife kill, they managed to retrieve an AK and shut down the economy of their opponents.
That's such a ballsy call to make as well from the T side. Also, as you mentioned, like the rifle with no armor against SMGs, you're just gonna get shredded unless you get that first bullet.
I think they just bought an extra one and we're gonna juggle it over. Like, okay, I'll give you a Galil, I'll give you an AK, and it's like, wait, how have we've got too many weapons.
Exactly, because 3 rifles and 2 Deagles with armor and maybe also some utility, it's not a bad setup.
No.
You can definitely get something done. But once again, they're taking this control towards Ivy so aggressively. Molotov down first, then Smoke very forward. AbleJ can hold this for a while. That means that they can go and play basically 2-2 on each bomb site with the rotation to come in from the Ivy situation very quickly. This is very hard to penetrate if you're in this situation. Very hard to get anything done here, especially with the low buy as well. Oof.
Nade's doing a lot of damage. It is worth mentioning as well that Furia, they lost 1 map the whole of the ESTA season. Like the whole season, the full league and playoffs, and that was actually to Team 1 on this map. So maybe there's a little bit of vulnerability there. At the same time, when you then win 17-0 in the actual season, that is scary. Like, to be that consistent in best of ones is kind of ridiculous.
That's the only thing you have to fix then, is train.
Maybe that's what they've been doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I would go if I was the coach of this team and say, okay, yeah, we went 17-1 in the season. What do we need to fix?
But no, they went 17-0. They lost 1 in playoffs. So
it's even better than that.
It's even better. Like they had a ridiculous MDL season and won it by not even really trying, by the looks of things. Like just like rinsed everybody else. Obviously, from what was said on the desk, it looks like they came here instead of going for the season of Pro League. But hey. Why not? Yeah, why not? Let's try and win here. INTZ obviously didn't have a great time over there, but that was without KNG. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. And well, speaking of KNG, he's got his AWP in hand. Grow that national brand. Very important also for the business side of esports, business side of Counter-Strike, to have a good national brand. And now the push is coming down towards Yuri. He's facing in the wrong direction initially, tries to spin back around, but he's already down. And this has now become a complete B retake. It's going to be very difficult unless they get a quick pick, and Vinny not going to be able to bring that one home. It's Yell to finish him off, and you can see they're right out of there. Yeah, once again, the danger of playing 1-4 on CT side is always imminent, especially if you play in a position where you have to watch 2 angles at the same time. Yeah. You can play that position on that top train if you have someone looking at the upper angle, but playing it in a 1-4 is I wouldn't advise it. Let's just put it like that. Yeah, I think the other thing as well is like all the other players were quite deep. Yeah, within the silo. They had 1 deep in Pop Dog. There was nobody in the connector, so no rotation. Even in terms of rotations, they were nowhere near getting back into that site. But yeah, I think you need to play a bit more passive there, but I think that's just the confidence of Furia that we're seeing coming out. Exactly, and that's where, in my opinion, confidence can become a bit too much if you start playing stuff like that, not really respecting your opponents. And surely they're gonna fix that mistake for the next round. That's exactly what we saw in Nuke. Like every single time that the Furia lost a round and INTZ found a way in, then Furia would just change it up, and then next round bounce straight back. And they have the money for it. They don't even have to think about going down to pistols. It's actually quite interesting going for 2 MP9s, even though the money says they could easily. Those are saved. Oh, of course, yeah, that makes sense. But they could have upgraded if they wanted. Yeah, no, easily could have upgraded, or could have gone hunting for weapons, but. They've decided against that, and they've already got the early pick. There's now an AWP down over towards main, which I'm sure they'd love to try and retrieve. Looks good so far, if you're a Furia fan. But once again, this 1 man alone on the speed bombs that the rotation this time, though, comes in. So they're going to play 2-3 with a 1-man advantage in general. Yeah, and they do a decent trade of damage as well. The Yell's going to be on to 32 HP. Yuri a little bit lower, so he can't really be left alone on this site anymore. Which does give a bit of an opening over towards the A side, but I quite like the setup. They're still very aggressive. They're not fearful at all. You can see that secondary AWP actually has been retrieved. So it's going to be Art obviously manning the main, but Quesarado going to be watching towards A main, just waiting for anybody to peek into that angle. And in fact, he's actually caught from Ivy. That was Art just taking a little bit of a peek in that direction and instead gets them a second man advantage.
Now they're going to try to move in towards Ivy since they know that an orb is probably holding 2 angles. The smoke will dissipate in the right timing, so they have a window here for the next 5 seconds where they need to put the smoke or flash down, but they won't. This leaves it up to Art, and he's just going to crush this. Cello will hit the second shot due to the miss, but already now a 2v4, it's very hard to bring Web with 28 seconds to go.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get the double there. That was very close to a lineup. The fact is, as you mentioned, breaking into this side is going to be very difficult. I think the only way it happens is if there's a bit of a mistake, and you can see Abel J, he's just watching to see if anybody crosses. He'll give the information over to Quesarado, who's now going to turn around. There's a chance they could pincer him from Ivy, but the fact is, there's only 9 seconds. They've got to get onto the side right now. Cello's actually going to find a kill to make it possible. The fact is there anybody who can stop that bomb going down? Yell's not going to be able to save him, but it doesn't matter. The bomb's been planted. Yell's been given a small opportunity, a small bit of time to try and fight this one off. He spots out Vinny, who's actually just going to take the more passive angle. Furia as well has retrieved an AWP, so low on health, but Vinny's going to find the shot anyway. Furia, they'll get that bounce back, they'll get the round, but there is going to be money for INTZ.
Definitely. Gonna have enough money to get an AWP, full armor, no need to worry about that glass cannon, as KNG has done a couple of times so far in this tournament at least. Anyone can get what they want.
That's the thing, if Yell catches that player who tries to just run and jump onto the site, I think he wins that. Yeah. Because that's the player who actually ended up killing him in the end, so...
It's also, once again, like a snap-second decision-making and maybe an in-game leader not having 100% control over the troops. Like, when that situation comes in, they get the frag and they have the bomb plant. The guy from main, or from the CT connector or link or whatever you want to call it, is making a bit of a mistake rushing straight into to deny the bomb plant. Because in that situation, you should just play the advantage, know that you have one extra player, and then, yes, you give them the bomb plant, but we make sure we don't lose the round. That could have gone worse. That could have been a clutch from that E-box.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, that's what I'm saying. If Yell could have killed the player looking to cross, that's either a 2v1 because he wouldn't have killed the bomb planter either, or a 1v1 where Yell has the bomb planted in his favor, and I think it was maybe Yuri left who had like 11 HP or something. So either way, it was a tough spot, but yeah, they get away with it. Furia are now going to be sat 4-1 up over on that CT side. The T's, as mentioned, they've got to buy now. They've got the money, they've got the AWP back in the hands of KNG, who obviously has been caught out fighting early on in these rounds, so a little bit more passive this time. Just waiting to see if anybody's going to peek over towards that B side. But that's one thing that Furia really have been quite respectful with, I'd say, is that their B site hold has been very passive. It's been players in maybe slightly aggro positions when it comes to the push, but they've not been going up into the upper hall's position. I think if that starts happening, that's when they really are feeling confident.
And now the rotation's actually coming in. I think they're going to leave Yuri close range with the ARC, and then they're going to play 1-4 after a decent amount of time. I think in this situation, when you get this information, I think it's okay to play 1-4 with one rotating connector. Art can go back and forth with a 5-6 second window. He's going to go back towards the B side. He fears that's where the push is going to come. Let's see how he reacts when more information is available to him, because the T side is still not moved. They have not thrown much of their final execute grenades. And Quesarado will pick up the first one.
Already getting that opener, and the time starts to tick once again. This is one thing that kind of starts to happen when you don't get those openers. He will go down, but has done a hell of a lot of damage in return. And the clock continues to tick that little bit faster. 20 seconds left as Vinny catches another one. Abel is able to pick off one more, and KNG, okay, he trades, but the fact is they've gained no ground. They have to go running onto the site at this point. They have to try and gain a little bit of control, and you can see Art's already waiting just at the back of bomb train. Yuri's going to push through the Molotov, and he burns. He actually doesn't manage to get that kill. Yet again, though, it's Yell, 1 versus 2, 4 HP. He has no idea where his opponents are, and this one is much easier than the last.
5-1. This has already given me flashbacks to the first map. Even though it is the CT side, the generally more dominant side, but statistically, this is also the strongest side for Furia, as the T side statistically is on Nuke. So it's kind of the same picture we're painting again, and we need INTZ to step up, and I need specifically KNG to step up. He's the star of this team. He didn't show that on map 1. I have so much faith in him and so much belief in him as an individual talent. He hasn't shown that yet.
No, he's supposed to be almost the standout player in the server. Like, there's plenty of good players on Furia, but we talk about them being more of a team and INTZ being a sort of collection. And he's definitely the sort of your star piece, the bit you put centerfold. But So far, it's not been the case, and that's been their big problem. Note, in the last round, they get down to what? 30 seconds, nothing's happened. They're waiting for a peak.
Why would you throw a Molotov into a smoke that's already there if you see the smoke? It just seems like a muscle memory thing where you're just drilled into your head that that's the strat. Because that's a waste of a Molotov. And I know, yes, they still have a couple, but now one player is dead. Now there's just 2 Molotovs left, and they haven't even executed yet.
And that's the thing I think we're seeing a real lack of from INTZ at the moment, is that I think they rely too heavily on picks. Like, we haven't seen any real executions. It's basically, hey, Kenji, can you get us an opening frag? If not, then this happens. They're going to just take fights, Enable J. Okay, Kenji gets it eventually, but at that point, it's too little too late.
Instant
Serado's, yeah, there to trade, and while Yell, good luck.
1v4. Yell is a great player. Great individual, great leader, but it's not going to go his way. Fury with the 6-1 and the disrespect.
I like it. I like a little bit of BM.
A little bit of BM. Also, I like the coach constantly writing things down in his notebook. It seems like he's more of a analytical coach than the side of INTZ, where it's more of like hyping everyone up, getting
First
everyone
Furia
going.
drums in the freeze time.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how low they have to have the yield on his mic just so that he doesn't like.
He's like minus 90%.
Yeah.
Oh well, another pause, and this is where we see the coach of INTZ coming in. Doesn't have any notes, but don't take that away. A lot of people, especially in the coaching positions, can actually have a lot of insight even though they don't write stuff down. But it's very hard for us to say as commentators since we don't speak Portuguese, and at least I don't talk to these coaches here because obviously I live in another region. So it's very hard to judge on coaching capabilities when you just have the image. But he could be coming in with a lot of good stuff. I just wouldn't know.
Well, they are going to save their cash this time. Playing a little bit more patiently. Now, 6-1 over on this map, when you're on the T side, is not a death sentence. They're not in the same scenario that we saw on Nuke, where they're in this same sort of scoreline. It's not over by any stretch of the imagination.
Like, they get 4 or 5 rounds on T side, that's okay. They can easily turn that to a win.
Oh, there we go. Quick burst in. They're going to look to try and pressure Yuri. This time, they've sort of doubled it up quite a lot recently after the sort of failures of that one round. But Yuri, he may not need that much help. Already managing to pick off 2. He's got Art there. Just around the bomb. They're actually going to be able to get that down, so that's at least some money added in. Yell's not going to be able to pull the CZ out in time, and Cello is going to meet exactly the same fate. 7-1, not too difficult for Furia, but I don't think they're going to be too unhappy with getting a bomb plant there. Yeah,
I think also this round was the throwaway round. This round we're going to see next, the buy coming in now, is the one that they talked about in the freeze time. They have enough money to get orbs on everyone, full utility, 1 orb, 4 AKs, even throw a couple of SGs in there if you want to. This is where INTZ need to turn this around. Like, they need to turn the ship now. Yes, 7-1 is not terrible, but they need to show something. They haven't shown anything, at least in my opinion, so far in this game, that gives themselves like an feeling that they can come back in the game and they can do something here.
I'd like to see them put some more pressure onto B. I think that's where, like, they've actually been given the chance to execute a lot of times. There's not been a lot of aggression from Furia. But they just keep pushing into A, and they just keep getting wrecked. Like, Cerrado again can find the opener. Vinny's there as well. They actually have 4 players on this site, and you can understand why. They've not been going towards that B site, other than when it's rounds where they've just got nothing to play with anyway. So you can see, and even Yuri now starting to join in the fight. This was the moment I said, that's where things get scary. Because he's now starting to take map control that is not being challenged by INTZ.
Exactly.
They've been given the space.
And it's so easy if you're a T side, of course you have to want to do it first and you have to do it as a unit, but take control of no man's land or brown holes or whatever you want to call it. Get set up in a situation where you can kind of smoke off the long-range positions on that B side. You can actually get a good take going as quick as you take that no man's land control, but they haven't even attempted that yet. That has even, like, I haven't seen any of that. It has all been controlled on getting to that A side or getting map control other places, and then eventually maybe hitting for a big quick B executed at the end of the round, but not like a big thought-out plan, taking map control early on. They need to show that they can do that on train as well, because if that's not a part of your game plan, you're not going to be able to win a game against Furia.
Well, an absolute field day so far for Furia. 8-1. I'm getting deja vu back to the previous map. As they won the first half, 12-3 on the T side of Nuke. This is looking even more dominant. The money now starting to boom. Art with $10,000 in his bank account, and
he's rich.
Yeah, in fact, there's even now going to be Yell looking to pick up the glass cannon orb. We have to say that it hasn't been a great success for KNG so far. He's lost the battle, be it to Quesarado, or be it to Art on the other side with the AWP. He just hasn't had any luck. And this time you can see they're being a bit more patient, waiting.
At least now they're attempting to kind of clear out. They had the orb angle once before towards that upper angle, but they didn't really clear towards no man's land, which is where Cello is getting close to right now. But there's already so much like map control being taken outside. They're still on the very back of Ivy, haven't really moved much. All the three CT players are very close to each other, and both CTs on B have moved up towards the upper angle. Let's see, INTZ, this is a good chance for them. They now have something to play with. Vinny, though, waiting for the drop down.
Incendiary will at least give him the information that there is going to be somebody around that angle. Looking like they might try and split this round the back towards B.
Able J with a green train position with the Orc, allowing them to get in, but then shooting them when they come towards the back line. They are aware this is a very standard position. When that smoke is down, it leaves a bit of a gap, and KNG will take that gap and win the duel.
Yeah, that's the opener they needed. Finally, he springs into life to give them a chance into this round, and it's a very passive hold back. They should quite easily be able to clear out Quesarado, but he sprays down two instead. Turns it back into the favor of Fury. He's dropped the bomb as well. Again, we get down to the sort of late round timings, but he'll be closed out. Yuri now the only one remaining. 1 versus 3. He's going to try and sneak his way down the ladder. Yell is homed in on this angle. AWP and Andy should not be missing this shot, and he will not. Second round on the board for INTZ. They finally managed to bounce back on that T side.
And it looked a little bit more structured, to be honest. Like, they were early on clearing out the angles towards B, making sure that that aggression play cannot come in, give that CT map control away. They got that lockdown, then they took towards Ivy, did the boost, made sure that the CT throw down that smoke where he's holding on the green train, knowing that two people can be in the same position and kind of pre-fire through the smoke the second you know he's there, getting that first opening and then building on top of that. Nice to see that INTZ is trying to build something on this T side instead of just running in and just relying on getting that first pick and moving on from there.
I've said this once though, we'll say it again. Second Furia loser round, they always seem to come back 10 times stronger and win it almost dominantly. The other problem as well that we've always seen is that INTZ need opening kills, and if they don't get it originally, they could be in trouble. Yell, he's just about going to survive that one, but Vinny hasn't even taken a point of damage. He's just going to be giggling to himself with the amount that he's just managed to do.
Yeah. Still has a smoke as well. There's a little bit of a utility advantage right now for the T side, as they have 3 smokes and a Molotov and 2 flashes. While there's only 1 smoke and 1 Molotov, or incendiary if you will, on the CT side. That means if it comes to an execute in the last 30 seconds of the round, preferably in my opinion, towards B, that could be an opening for INTZ. It's one of the smokes gone down there towards Ivy. Flash as well, evening out the scoreboard a little bit. For utility, that is.
Again, the clock starts to tick, and with no entry found, INTZ just fall back into the same style of trying to challenge into A main. It's almost repetitive after shutdown. One, Quesarado snaps back! Manages to pick off another, and this is just the same again and again and again. Without those openers, INTZ really struggle. And he's got the chance. Quesarado's low. He should be able to get this, but it doesn't matter. This man is on fire today.
The second you think you got Furia figured out, they changed the setup. Quesarado comes in with a double. Classic. 9-2 now. INTZ going a bit down there in lost bonus, but of course not as big of a problem as it was, let's say, a couple of months back. So even though, yes, sure, they're going to buy all the way down, the lost bonus is not completely gone for them. So they still have some economy to rely on for the rest of this first half. But look at those odds.
Yeah.
Not really much to gain from betting on Fury at this point.
Unless you have maybe millions to bet. Yeah. And then you can make a bit of money. But
yeah, then you probably should.
But yeah, this is one of those situations. I sort of mentioned it. If they don't find the picks, then it's almost scripted what they're going to be doing. Like, it was a 3-man push from A main. Quesarado was just watching. He was just waiting. He knew at that like 30-second mark. He was like, well, they come through here every time, so I might as well just watch it and wait. And then he's got Art also supporting him, just able to switch between the two. Yell, he's so low on HP. He can't really peek this angle. Well, he'll give it a try, but Yuri, he's been fairly, well, rotational wherever he plays. Like, his B-site hold has been pretty much different every single round.
Yeah. He's been passive, he's been aggressive, he's been upper, he's been lower, he's been far back, he's been in your face.
He's been annoying, is what you're trying to say.
That is also true, yes. I would not like to match up against him, let's just put it like that.
Yeah, well, to be honest, this whole Furia roster has looked fantastic throughout today. Definitely not like the team we saw on Mirage.
No.
They've been clinical.
They've been going back into this game. I think Bark mentioned it on the desk as well.
Look how far they've got. They haven't cleared Yuri, but they just bypassed him. That actually worked wonderfully because you see the peak come out from the connector and the CTs don't have a clue. Oh, Destiny's watching. Destiny's watching. KNT, I think he heard the scream. It doesn't matter. Vinny's going to get both kills anyway, and now he can just get onto the bomb. He has a kill as well.
They don't.
There's nothing they can do.
They have no
They're
nades.
not going to be able to stop him from defusing this bomb. Furia are going to take a 10th. They'll just have to watch and wait as that bomb gets defused, and they both die as well.
Vinny.
Balls of steel. Like, he didn't even sweat. Look at his, he's just like, yeah okay, chill, easy.
They lose the first players, they completely bypass that B defense, but Vinny just comes in, 2 kills. I think he relays the info, or he gets the information from a teammate. They're so far away from the bomb, just get on it, and then just hope they don't have any nades. Yeah. And they didn't, and that's the free defuse.
Oh, no AWP this time. KNG looking to probe in towards A main. That has been their nightmare small. They have not been able to push out on A pretty much at all throughout this game. They have really struggled. Bit of a run boost to try and dodge any aggression, but I think we've seen one push from Yuri throughout this game, and that was when 2 players had already died on the A side. So he has not been like over aggressive, and I think considering the scoreline, you could almost warrant like a mistake or 2 from him with like aggression, but no, he's just calm. He's the anchor on the site. He's got Art this time to support him. I think after what happened in the previous round with the ability to get the bomb down not too difficult, it's not that much of a surprise for INTZ to try and do this again, especially with how tough it's been to break into that A site. But are they going to expect Yuri? Again, he's in a completely different spot to the last round. They have absolutely no idea. Abel now adds in one more, and this is looking like more of the same. The same record being played over and over again. Some sort of Despacito or something like that, but either way, Cello, he's gone. He's done.
He's gone.
11-2. This is absolutely dominant.
I'm getting flashbacks to the first map, and they're starting to become more and more real. Even if INTZ win these last 2 rounds, they still need to win the pistol. Like 4 rounds is doable. You can still do something. You can definitely still have a chance, but with the momentum that Furia has right now, like I don't really see it. And also look at the utility on the T side. No Molotovs, only 3 smokes, only 2 flashbangs. Not even head armor on Destiny.
Oh, this time Yuri's changed his ways.
What?
How does he get both?
What?
That makes absolutely no sense. I think Cello's just been caught having a bit of a nap midway through the round. Oh, this is where it just becomes BM. Abel's just going to look to push this off. Can they win this round flawlessly with the level of aggression they've had? Yes, they can! Furia are destroying INTZ at this point. And bear in mind, this is for a place in the semi-finals versus Sharks. Furia could almost have like that sort of spot just waiting for them in the final.
Wouldn't ride out Mac and the boys just yet, but I get where you're coming from. They would definitely be the favorites in that matchup.
Especially after this performance.
Yes.
To lose to this team, obviously there's always that sort of saying of if you play a team earlier in the tournament, then you play them again, it's going to be a completely different story. But this is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is an extreme version of that tale. We've had that tale many a time in DreamHack Opens. But this one is a bit too extreme for me.
Oh, Castorado, caught with an aided hand. Surely can't get too many more here. Thankfully, there'll be the trades, and actually this is looking like one of the better rounds so far for INTZ. Finally, maybe the explosion onto the A side will work out for them. They've still got to deal with so many Furia players, though. It's already turned back into a 3v3. Vinny very low on health. She's going to be able to round the corner, but again, the trades just come in. It's left all onto Zand in the 1 versus 1, and up! Peek out. A 13-2 dominating half coming out from the guys from Furia. We thought 12-3 was good. They've managed to do one better.
Jesus, what a half. We're going to be back with the next...
I've been thinking of you. I've been thinking just what to do. We were born in this neighborhood. We were born in this neighborhood. dreams come true. You've been alone, but you know it's coming. You've been living a lie. You've been living a lie. You've been afraid, but it's no use running. You've been living a lie. You've been living a lie. I can see another life. I can see a different time.
The Fury has hit Rio, and Furia will be up 13-2 in their second map of this best of 3. A match to go to the playoffs here at DreamHack Open. And now, let's see if they can finish it in the same shape and form that they did on Nuke as they go for the quick inner push.
Yeah, pistol or bust for INTZ. There are actually going to be a couple of players up here, and they've got the quick rotations through the pop as well, so it seems like they're more than well prepared for this initial pistol playing towards the B site. Pop flash is going to be thrown out as they try and gain a little bit of control. Obviously, actually no one watching to see if anybody is going to push up the ladder.
And once again, this is how you can utilize that no man's land position, because now they have 2 Molotov positions they can kind of take out with Winnie holding this upper corner angle. Goes in for the frag, but KNG's quicker.
They're going to be able to get that opener. Flashbang not going to leave him blind, and he pops the second head as well, going for more. KNG looking to at least start this off with a bang. He's been a pistol hero before, but it will be down to the rest of his teammates to at least close this out. Destiny doesn't want to take the silencer off his gun at that moment. And now Quesarado, 50 HP, 4 players to find. Many homed in on the angle, and, well, you can already see Cello going to be rotating just in case. Nice shot, though, on Tazan. But the little bit of damage he takes back in return probably wasn't worth it.
Yeah, this is incredibly hard for Quesarado. He just wants to get a couple of nice shots out there. This is very, very close to impossible to winning. Let's see. If anyone were to do it, Quesarado would be the one. He's going to get shot down by Destiny, and you said pistol or bust. You're going to get the pistol, but
Yeah.
the fear is not out of them yet.
No, this is not like this is the saving grace, but it pretty much was the end of the game if they didn't manage to get that. So
Backs against the wall, they continue to do so, but with a little less limited lifeline. They have a bit of a bigger chance now. It moved from 1% to maybe 2.5%.
you think the odds might have changed a little bit?
Slightly.
Maybe very, very slightly. T side, they're looking like they're going to go for the classic bomb plant strategy, just rush in towards the B side, but all the footsteps will have been heard by Zand, and you can see KNG just homed in, padding those stats. I think it's important that he gets off to a strong start. If they're going to have any chance of tournament survival, this man needs to be up on the top of that scoreboard. I almost thought Quesarado was going to just murder himself there. Didn't want to give them the extra cash, but there we go. KNG trying to pump up the crowd a little bit, get them on his side, which I think they definitely are. When we've seen INTZ finally pick up a round, it has been the crowd just that little bit louder.
That's actually one thing that I'd like to point out about this Brazilian crowd. They have been cheering for kills. They've been cheering for whatever team is on the back foot, whatever team like would be most fun to get something done. It's not like they have a specific favorite. Yes, there are many Furia t-shirts out in the crowd, but they cheer for everything. Also, if it's the international teams, if good plays are happening, they're here.
It's definitely nice to see. Well, I'll be interested to see if it's the same case in the final, and it's going to be obviously almost a guaranteed. No, I think it is a guaranteed Brazilian team in that final.
Oh, for sure. That might have a little bit of a bias.
Yeah, I think well, when it comes to winning the tournament, I think they might change their tune a little bit.
That's almost like the romantic part about Brazilian CS, because it's so close to the football tradition, the football passion, where you can just like try to drive down the enemy team. And
well, that's the thing as well. It's like Neymar has obviously been involved with Furia quite a bit, and then involved with well, I suppose they were SK at the time, or MIBR, and I think that's really awesome to see. Like, obviously Brazil is massive when it comes to Counter-Strike, that really anybody can get involved. Either way, once again, it's going to be a push towards the B-side. Zand is gone without a trace. Doesn't manage to get anything done. KNG's still here though, but he's going to fall as well. And you almost have to wonder if this is the moment where the CT's got, okay, we can't fight this. We just can't. They don't have anything to get back in. They do have a little bit of utility, but they need to kill this player up to, well, Kesarada very, very quickly, and they're just going to fail. They're pushing back in when they don't have many rounds to play with here, and they don't have that much money either.
Tough times. Kesarada and Vinny will close out the round. It's going to be 14-4. And INTZ very, very far away now. We're looking at less than 5% chance of them getting this.
What are your percentages?
Getting them live from the internet.
It went to 2.5, and now it's below 5, so it's gone up.
Well, below 5 could be anything, Tom. Technically, below
true.
5 could be 0.0001%.
Yeah, that is true.
I just didn't specify. That's a real like political argument.
That's the tactic.
Type of thing.
Hinge ruined.
He just got wrecked.
2 HP. This is the thing. This is why I don't understand why they didn't save some of those weapons in the last round. A 5 versus 3 retaking the B site, you're not going to do it. It just wasn't possible. I think it's just the scoreline that sort of forced them into the hope that they could do it. Yuri's going to kill off Yao.
The second you spray through that smoke on the common angle on the left side, you're going to get an AK spray straight back. So you got to get 1 kill instantly because you die if you keep holding that position. Kenji, with that low HP, has to make a play, but he's just going to get shot down. Walks through the smoke. Doesn't matter.
Oh, wait, there's another player there, though. They've got to be
Sand.
careful that Zan doesn't get him behind him. He's
I've
spotted
heard the
anyway.
footsteps.
And well, now it's left all onto Cello. They have just dominated Yuri with 4 kills in the round, 15-4. Furia just 1 round away from making that comeback. Obviously, they lost versus INTZ initially in the best of 1 phase, and then came back versus the E-United guys, obviously earlier. And while now they're looking to get themselves right into the playoff stage and face off against the Sharks. Another Brazilian brawl for Furia if they can close out this last round. And I would be saying that the sort of 0.8% that you're looking at now on the probability is fair.
Yeah, there's a high probability for OT. And once again, a statement that doesn't really matter at this point, because it's just going to be shut down.
Yeah.
C-sets, a single 5-7 remaining against AKs and AUGs, or an AUG. And this is, well, I might have to pay Dust some money now, but this is done and dusted.
Yeah, done and dusted. His, I said it as well. Oh, well, you said it first, so you owe him more. Either way,
fine.
The CT side, Cello hoping that they do push through, and they are going to come past him. Obviously, not really any worries about time. Yuri's even going to pincer him in. The one chance they had is out. Furia 16-4, absolute dominance. Barely any rounds picked up over the whole series.
7 rounds in total over 2 maps, Trent.
That has got to hurt. Now, they haven't had much practice. It is, again, it's worth giving them a little bit of a sort of, okay, like a way out, because they obviously had a different team playing at EPL, but the absolute fashion that was just done by Furia was massively impressive. Like, to turn around from losing to this team in the best of 1 phase to come back and do this is unreal.
Very, very impressive from Furia. The guys will move on to face on Sharks in the playoffs. Yeah. We're going to find out who joins that playoff. We need 1 more team, and we're going to find out in a bit. But before we go ahead and go venture into that game, we're going to have the analyst on the desk break down this one.
You could see just how much that one hurt. You actually saw it on the face of Sandy there. It looked like he was, maybe wiping tears from his eyes. Just losing in front of the home crowd is brutal, and you could see how much it meant to INTZ to try to make it into the playoffs.
Definitely, it is really brutal, and especially in that fashion. I feel like INTZ never really got into that match, and whenever they even tried or attempted to, Furia just shut them down.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there was like a grand total of 7 rounds between 2 bats from INTZ. They got absolutely dominated by Furia's T side on Nuke. Again, we talked about how that was kind of a mistake to even let Nuke through. I mean, really, that was a huge dice roll to allow Furia and Nuke. I thought that was going to come back to haunt them, and it did. And then obviously on Train, it was a very similar story.
I mean, and when you think about Nuke, you think about, everyone always talks about how CT-sided this map is, right? And they started on that CT side, and you expect them to have a strong start. However, it's only CT sided if you know how the angles work, what contacts to take. And I feel like INTZ was taking fights that in really awkward positions and places that is not very optimal for CT counter-terrorists to actually fight. And so they were losing out on those battles a lot of the time. And this clip from Abel J, such a beautiful play. That's just his spidey senses tingling, letting him know there's got to be more players here towards that smoke, and uses an HE grenade to mask his sound and just push forward, gain space, and 2 easy kills for Able J.
I mean, you saw a lot of aggression coming in there towards the end from Furia. They were just starting to feel so much more confident, and even still, they were very reserved, like they have been all tournament long. Not really the type to get up and get into the crowd energy, just kind of laying back and letting their game speak for itself. And looking at the stats, that certainly speaks for itself. Really fantastic performance from K Serrato and Yuri, 104 ADR across 2 maps.
Man, K Serrato, he was so fantastic to watch on Nuke. I mean, his aim, his crosshair placement was going left, right, just snappy, and he was getting such clean, crisp kills, and it was so challenging for INTZ to actually even attempt to get back into this game.
Just suffocating performance from Furia, really. I mean, when you get overrun on T-side Nuke like that, you're not really able to get into the game. And then when you look at Train, how many times are they able to just play forward onside T-Con? You're not allowing the team any map control, any opportunity to set up utility. They even push inner halls a couple of times. And on the T-side, the close, it was simple but efficient. Like, they didn't really do anything that knocks your socks. They didn't have to. They already had 13 rounds on the game. So it's just about making sure your discipline, your spacing's just right, your trade fragging efficiently. You're just nailing down the basics in a really kind of perfected fashion. And then that's what allows them to win the game. And it was a brutal scoreline, if we're being honest.
We do have Vinny waiting for us for the interview. Vinny, congratulations on the win. You guys already played INTZ. You obviously felt confident coming into the series, but did you think it was going to be that one-sided?
I don't think that, but when we visit the maps, we are pretty confident when they pick Train against us, because our map pool right now is very strong, and when we manage to start on city side on both maps, we are pretty confident with the match.
Hi, Vinny. I have a question for you. You and your teammates seem to really stay focused on those pre-games. So prior to the match going started, we see your eyes closed. We see full focus from you. Can you tell me what you guys are thinking or doing?
We are entered to this match just to give our best and don't let any external things to mess with us. And I think the team managed really well to do that. And well, you see the result.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you guys had a little bit of a cold start against INTZ on your opening match, and obviously I'm sure that probably hurt a little bit. I mean, you knew you had opportunities to come back, and you did. We talked about it this morning when I ran into you at breakfast. I'm like, it's time to run it all the way back, and you did. Now you're going to the semifinals. How important was it, because you've been growing so well in the Americas region in different qualifiers and online leagues, and so you've already kind of started making a name for yourselves there, but now you get a chance to go to the playoffs of a big LAN tournament, probably the biggest LAN you guys have been at other than the major. So what is that like for you guys to finally get that opportunity?
It's basically what we are here for. We are practicing every day, far from our families, and living our dream to the max. And I think what we are achieving right now is just what we are really practicing.
I have just one more question for you guys. You guys turned down the ESL Pro League spot. Do you have any regrets now that you're coming here and making it to the playoffs?
No, we no regrets at all, because we are playing in the home crowd. The fans are amazing. I think that was the best choice for us.
Speaking of those fans, we'll let you say one more thing to the audience before we let you go. Go ahead.
Obrigado a todo mundo que torceu na torcida, vocês são muito foda. Dá pra ouvir vocês demais no fone, a energia que vocês dão pra gente, e só tem pra agradecer. Agora eu vejo vocês lá fora.
All right, congratulations again. Go celebrate with the team, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, man. See you.
I mean, that was probably one of the most impressive performances we've seen all tournament long. I mean, yeah, we had, maybe some lesser-known variables coming in with teams like Redemption POA, but that was 2 teams we knew enough about that we should have expected a closer series. We were thinking 3 maps, we'll finally get to see Vertigo.
Right.
And Furia goes, no.
And I mean, there
Verta,
were
no.
16-3, 16-4, only 7 rounds on the board for INTZ. I mean, that is the most dominant performance that we've seen from Furia, and if they're able to keep up this performance, oof. The Alliance, and they've got a tough road ahead.
I feel like it was a long time coming, right? It's one of those things where they have been improving steadily in a different environment. Now they finally get to show us that in the LAN environment where it matters most. And I'm glad to see that, because I always hate to see a team that works really hard, grinds it out, is able to do really well online, do well in the qualifiers. Once you get to the main event, maybe the pressure gets to you or the experience is going to hurt you, but not them. They've actually risen up. And here's the thing: they're going to play Sharks tomorrow in a semifinal, and Sharks did an interview in Portuguese when the Brazilian media companies, Beta was showing it to me, and they basically thought that that Furia was a little bit overrated. They thought that they could beat them, and I'm like, well, let's see it tomorrow then, because Furia looks on fire right now, and they're certainly the favorites going into that semi tomorrow.
Well, before we get into that series, we've got one more to go today to see who's going to be joining all these teams in the playoffs. It's going to be W7M and Valiance, and we'll be jumping into that one right after the break. Stay tuned.